It's important for us to know, sir, the interview we had with Mr. Kofi Cranton was to still give us an opportunity to let politicians know that we are still on the fence trying to address issues of illegal immigrants in our country, and to use that opportunity to tell politicians that we are putting the country in their hands, that they are supposed to be the doorkeepers, the gatekeepers of the country. They are supposed to put the country at first and put the citizens at first. But however, there are so many controversies running through our minds, making it look like the politicians are, however, putting foreigners at first and then looking at the country called Ghana, where citizens are the most important people who went to queue on the 7th of December 2024 and voted for people to become president, ministers, and then DCs. However, they are looking down on the people who voted for them, and then they are allowing the influx of illegal people into our country, making our country very unsafe. And today, we will speak on so many things, and I'm going to expose so many things to you, because you know that when we talk about the chief alatarian, the neck presser of all alatarians, if we talk about the neck presser of all fulanitarians, you would talk to nobody than Nestana, who has for 4 and 5 months stood on the grounds and told the government that the influx of alatarians and Nigerians and other illegal people in our country has caused our country significant harm than good. And we have given them proof, facts on figures. We have gone out there and the data has shown how Ghana, which was one day or some time ago the most peaceful country in the whole of West Africa, where everybody was flying, booking their tickets months ahead, because where is your destination? Ghana. Where is your destination? Cape Coast, because they know Cape Coast as the place where you can find most of the dungeons, most of the ancient forts and castles. So, hey, where is your destination? I'm going to Cape Coast. Where is your destination? Accra, Kumasi. Because Ghana was very fond of so many people, because when you come, you just don't see these kind of castles. You are able to trace where your lineage is actually from. So people who were coming for the year of return, they were coming for the year of return because, one, the country was very safe, and we had presidents and people whose vision was to keep the country as safe as possible. So most individuals that were flying from the United States of America, from the United Kingdom, and we were thinking that when I look into myself, I think that I'm half a Ghanaian, I am half an American, but I want to go and see how our forefathers struggled when they were passing through the dungeons during the slave trade. They were thinking that, where can we go and look at all these histories? They can only trace to one country, which is the Republic of Ghana. So Ghana became a beacon of tourism, where tourists wanted to come to our country. Everybody, when you speak to people and then you are asking them about Ghana, they know no place than Cape Coast Castle. They know no place than Elmina Castle. And that is the reason why. That is the reason why Ghana was a most attractive country, even for investors who were in America, investors who wanted to come and invest into the country. They will first of all look at the peace and the security of the country before they put their money in, because no investor want to have bad returns. They want to have good returns. So for them to have good returns, they need to look at strategically, what kind of country can I put my money in and I can get returns back, because investment is very important. And people were putting their monies on Ghana because Ghana at the time was a most peaceful country where you can even sleep without closing your door and then you wake up. Ghana at the time was very peaceful because people were able to hold the hands of their kids and then take them to the bus station and say that, goodbye, I'm going to the market, I'm going to the farm, I'll be back at 3 p.m. and I know that I'll come and meet you at 3 p.m. Ghana was very peaceful to the extent that people can go and sleep on rooftops, and then they can, because when there is lights out, the only place that you can go and sleep and relax and take off your clothes and take off your singlet, and then you can sleep with your boxer shorts without thinking twice, it's Ghana, where the rooftop were very peaceful, and we have everybody on the rooftop sleeping day in and day out without thinking twice. That is the Republic of Ghana. Ghana was so peaceful that time that even as we have intense issues with politicians, the MPP and NDC are fighting day in and day out on the internet, on radio stations. We have tension in the country when we are getting close to election. But the peace of the people of Ghana will transcend through election, that there will be election, and then it will be very peaceful, and then we have peaceful transition. That was the Ghana that we saw. The Ghana that we saw, we did not see anybody who was going to people's houses and threatening them with knives. We did not see a Ghana where people were being threatened that they have been kidnapped, and then they were ransom on people's head. That is not the Ghana that we knew. The Ghana that we knew, we did not hear about issues of kidnapping. We did not hear about issues where people's organs were being harvested by some crop of people. The Ghana that we had was a Ghana that you can boldly chest out and say, this is my beloved country, in whom I am well pleased. That is the type of Ghana that we have. But doing a sort of comparison, we have seen a different part of Ghana. Even then, football was a prime thing which brought Ghanaians together. You could see Hearts of Folk and Kotoko going to play a football match, and there is tension everywhere. People have put monies betting here and there because they know that the only way for Ghanaians to unite was through football. So football was a major thing that brought Ghanaians together from different tribes, from the Mamprusis, from the Ashantis, to the Infantes, to the Gas, to the Kusasi, to the people from the Bro region, to everywhere. There was unity because football was one of the reasons we brought people together. Religion was another reason that brought people together who are Ghanaians, because people are from the Pentecostal, people are from the traditional religion, people are from the Methodists, from the Catholic, from the different cancers, from the SDAs. But when we talk about religion, religion brought so many Ghanaians together. Ghana was the top country. When you look at the peace index in West Africa, then time, Ghana was the first most peaceful country in West Africa. Everybody's intention was to go and taste the peace in Ghana. We were the only country. Because when elections were going wrong in people's country, all these United Nations and African Union and what nations in Europe and in Ghana, they were using the name of Ghana as reference to some countries where elections were bringing war and misunderstanding. And to both, I catch and say, where was for Ghana for election? They had an election just last month ago. What was Ghana for almost there is peace and tranquility even after election. But when you look at the country we call Ghana now, the Ghana that has been sold to the outside world with good intentions, the Ghana that has risen from the ashes, from economic turmoils, from the time you were struggling to get our pieces together. The Ghana that everybody was proud of. Today, that Ghana is no more that same Ghana anymore. Now, the Ghana we are talking about now, you cannot stand anywhere and boast that this is my beloved country in whom I am well pleased anymore. You can't challenge anything that's saying that Ghana is the most peaceful country in West Africa. You cannot. You cannot challenge and say that Ghana is the most peaceful country in West Africa Today, in this 2025, you cannot do that. Somebody will beat you up. It is no more that same Ghana. Why? Because when men slept, they allowed the enemy to come and plant bad seeds among the good ones. Because most people are taking the country for granted. Because men have slept instead of them working. Because people have slept on their jobs instead of working. Because people have become irresponsible and reckless. They've managed our resources badly. They've managed our security system badly. They have not been wise enough to dot their I's and cross their T's. Because they call themselves politicians. Because we have given them power. And when you are being drunk in power, you do not know how to use the power. So you misuse the power when the citizens are the people that will suffer out of that power. First, I'm out for you. Do light crown now. Crazy. I'm out for to wabonte. I'm out for to kaba wabonte. Hey, you do like that. You see that when there is total darkness in Ghana, that is where kids come out to play. I'm out for ever to kaba. People come out and then they can sit outside and chat till 11 p.m., 12 a.m., 1 a.m. Then people are still outside. When there's lights out, and that is the Ghana that we used to have. Say my lights out. I wonder your man because freedom near beer coin or beer good agro. You will see every child on the corridors because one, we want to have good ventilation to your from. Two, this is an opportunity. Say we use that medium to meet our friends from school. Because yes. But that time in Ghana, we have people coming out all the time because there was so much peace in our country. You will not sit down and think of the fact that Obe Kodiagro is so that. That was the Ghana that we used to have. Let me tell you, I will come to the Ghana now. My son and I remember the Ghana now because by the Ghana now, it will cancel all the things that Ghana has been before. Before then, time and Ghana was hono. Time and Ghana ye Ghana no. Me see, Udo bakos go on jine ho time ababa. Hey, obey ko saito. That time you call a morning shift and afternoon shift. And I call you school on a pa obe pon wia. Upon we are now, I mean, who do my water and what time I go do when that be. But your child will still come back home. Oh, Baba cry here. Omabeko in Tako, Sizo, Omabeko, I go to Mrika. In all those instances, no, your Uyama is so that because your child will still come home. Or back to what take crab as action as I bono. I don't know what or some food you do not care because the country at the time was very, 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 very peaceful. Because certain people were working. Because the country at the time was very peaceful. Because you were not hearing the rampant report of kidnapping. You were not hearing all these things because the country was very peaceful at the time. The country called Ghana that time was very, very, very peaceful. On the flip side, today, the Ghana that we are experiencing, and all these two political parties that are ruling massively upon Ghana, the MPP and the NDC, they all have a part to play in the current insecurities in our country. And I've said to you that here we don't blame one side. The NPP had a part to play when they were in power. The NDC has a part to play as they are in power. But because the politics of Ghana only goes against the poor people of the country, because the politics of Ghana has been designed in such a way that the poor will continue to be poor in Ghana and the rich will continue to be rich, including their kids and their household. And it's out there now crazy now there is no way that crazy now can make you become a billionaire in Atebubu. Because crazy now tono abani bebe kisho say you best out tum amwadi here. Una wo see wo bia nkuku wo na wo so ton kokko e wa masaman. En kokko na wo ton no ma be billionaire da, because the government system is not working in your favor, but the government system is working in their own favor. And so the current responsibility of the government is to seek that the people who voted for them are comfortable, but that is not the case now. Let's look at the insecurities. The consistent insecurity in our country is absurd. And for 4 good months now, we have raised consistently alarming rates of kidnapping in our country. Consistently, we have raised alarming rate of individuals who are being unalived in Ghana and their body parts being harvested and sold away. And we have people on my platform, so I'm be the announcers and Nestana. Me see a Kenya Menkwa, Tisia, and Yenya Menkwa by the national anthem of Ghanaians, and Yenya Menkwa, and Kametina Kabumu from Ahatu Hano, and Ka Obi Edim Milipiano, Ekoya Hanam Amomosi. The consistent insecurities in our country, rape cases on the high, kidnapping cases. They didn't hear about the Senegal case. Ever seen the we have been asking the people, the police, to give us update. There have been no update. But kidnapping cases have become like malaria cases in Ghana. Kidnapping cases have become like malaria cases in Ghana. It is rampant everywhere. Everybody is being kidnapped. And it's a Hana say, oh, Tiena, Mesro, and Jawabana was say, on Concotadia. Me say last time there is a breaking news I brought on this platform when in Praso, Mami Bia to Asmani Basse, on Cotadia Breno. In Praso, Mami Asmani Basse, on Coto Adiambreno. Me say, and did 30 minutes. And your friend, Mammy say, Mammy, a bomana, bro, na obano na odahono wasumane bane say piekoto enchine ebreme. The child went out there, and in less than 30 minutes the mom has been called. Say omehe ne bano ebusuya ne bana wasumane so onkoto enchine mre no okoya ne bano ye the second ato ne bane minim say ye hwe ne minim ekofom ye wiya ne banensa omakwanensa nifa eko. And this is the state of Ghana now. You cannot leave your child for your child to walk freely. Last week, me be breaking news bi oha. Say ma me bi me be body video oha. Ma me no ni yem sesene say ne balo say na ne mamienu ewu ye ne matu. Omo ko school. Omo be fie. Almost say insu air top, but on the tom come mama shop. The ene no me free shop aba enim. Mama no akọ shop upon obedu fie ni nana say o ma no so mo ba ho shop. So o mo ma ho. So o mo ba ho shop. Insu no take aka no so ba ho shop. Yen kohwe ne mano, they have been kidnapped and unalived. Yekuomo And shop, shop. They are going to their own mother's shop. And those kids have been unalived. Broad day robbery. Broad day unalivement. And to the Ghana that we used to have, it is not the same Ghana now. And why is it not the same Ghana? Because okay, hospitable, country who have been hospitable. Promo, so here for Ghana, dear. On Semo, here for Ghana, dear. On Semo, bra 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 yebejiwo. Bra 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 yebejiwo. Here for Ghana, dear. Yes, mo. Here for Ghana, dear. Yes, mo. That is the national anthem of Ghanaians. So we do not care about the people who are entering our country because we have shown people that we are too hospitable. And the hospitality is what is making our country very unpopular. Yet the baby Ghana there. Ghana there very hospital. Hey, Ghana there hey, Ghana there okoa. Hey, we have allowed our country to become as cheap that anybody who pick up the path will be on obey. Meanwhile, we've got data that shows us the number of rape cases, the number of kidnapping cases, the number of people who are dying on daily basis, not because time not because that because nipa bone for na did a sumasi so. Because nipa bone for agrin bone mutrim and a kuma free at the forces so their time is not yet up, but they have been taken away from the country because the government is sitting down on aloof, unperturbed, unconcerned, and on two on this action them with him and on Timbamu say ye kuomo. Since we started this campaign, how many people have we come to give you proof upon proof? Say ye kuomo, oh Ghana. Meanwhile, we've got leaders. You want paying for your trouble, say they should be the gatekeepers. But we ask ourselves difficult questions. Are they interested? Are they interested in protecting the people who voted for them? No. The leaders that we voted for, both from the MPP side and from the NDC side, do they have the heart to protect the people who voted for them? The answer is no. We have put our whole heart in a government and asking the government that the security of your country should be a priority. Because if you go to every country, their security is the most important asset to them. Because if you look at their budget allocation for security, security. Can Ghana compare their security system to that of UK? Can Ghana compare their security system to that of the USA? Even can Ghana compare their security system to that of Rwanda, to South Africa? We are not investing in our security system, but we have got a government. Obiaba no the throne ya dada ye be napko. No kote ntam ska twitwi de no le bako sena kom. Na napko ne de yo but go be yedma 1, be yedma 2, 3 and on the entry akabiem. Then people are still suffering. Then the children who you said you are bringing napko to relieve them from their pain, to relieve them from their unemployment, after they are still going back on the road. The girls are going back to do a shower. The boys are also going back to start using petty ways to get monies. They are using backdoor to get money. Then we allow people to come in and they use their bad deeds to come and infect our kids, who we have trained in the likeness and the image of God. Etu te oba sisi akra na oba no nyini a dachi bi no ala tani betuma fini mamu abaye mamu e de cyber fraud any yahoo no be data ye ma no na wa chenyi ye ma na dwen. Our security system is dead. We do not have the right equipment to maintain ourselves in terms of the security of our country. And the helicopter crash. Then look at the report of this helicopter crash. It is insane for a helicopter, which we know people knew that it had got so many defects. So many defects. But still, helicopter maintenance, but still, people will still ride on that helicopter. People will still fly it, causing the death of innocent people. Then you go politicians who will politicize this. They will politicize the death of people. Our security system is poor. There is no budget allocation for security. We are not equipping our security people. We are not doing proper maintenance for our security equipment that we have. We are not training our security people. And into no, hey, into Afghanistan, military men because they have not been trained for those kind of activities. Omo di ane say yesi dama ngo ene hwamu fo ako eni timo nko no omo di omo kopopo omo di omo there are people you need to protect us against. Alata fo ba beji yama na boso. Galamsi abeji yama na boso. Chinese fo beji yama na boso. Our security system is not working against these people. But the security system that we have is working against the own citizens. Are we correct as a country? Nyansa wo ye tim na wo hefa. Nyansa no e wo hefa. Our country is on a mercy seat, begging for mercy. Every part of our security system is gone. There is no systems put in place to check anybody who is coming in who is a criminal. And it's amount for everywhere, most of them has criminal records, but they are not being checked because there is no system in place to check out for these people. When you are coming to the UK, you do a criminal record. When you are in the UK and you want to apply for any job, they will do security checks on you. And it takes forever for it to come back. Because we are looking at possibilities. Say, have you done anything that we need to let the other party be aware of? Our security system checking that anybody coming into our country is having criminal records. Because Ubeko Police Headquarters, criminal certificate and a police certificate. That's open in 2 days. 500 cities. Open in 1,000 cities. Hey, in 2 minutes. No, their bro. Only criminal record. What data did you use to check me? Say I don't have any criminal record. Let the police people come and tell me which data. And I'm the checking say me I do not have any criminal records on their system. System man on they should come and show us the system that is keeping records of Oliver King, 99 Angels, Enoch Ashong, say they have records of every Ghanaian and all the bad deeds these people have done. Our system is poor. So people are entering our country like they have got their Ghanaians, their nationality is from Ghana. No critical checks are made on these people. And they are staying in our villages. They are staying in our cities. They are staying in our towns. And nobody is caring. And day in and day out, you go out there and people are getting missing. You'll see notice on radio stations, on television stations, that this person has been missing for the past 1 month. This person has been. Obi a 34, what's the way? Adding Obi a 45, what's the way? How would all these people get missing when there is no cause?